The Alldus podcast is brought to you by Alldus International, supplying your expert AI and digital transformation staffing needs across the US and Europe. Today, you are listening to our AI in Action series, where leading minds in AI from across the world share their story, success, and advice. AI in Action cuts through the hype and explores the true impact of artificial intelligence in our world today.
You're listening to AI in Action. I'm your host, JP Valentine. Our guest today is Franck Rapaport. Franck is the Director of Precision Medicine and Computational Biology Data Science at Sanofi. Franck, welcome to the show.
Hi, JP. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we're delighted to have you. So, Franck, let's start with yourself, please, as we do with all of our guests. Could you give us a bit of an overview of your background and your journey in technology, from where you got started, some of the roles you've held along the way, and what's led you to where you are today at Sanofi?
I was educated in France. I did a Master of Computer Engineering and Computer Science in France, and then I moved to a PhD in Machine Learning. And I applied machine learning to biological data, and especially cancer data and cancer microarrays, which were the technology on the edge at the time when I got my PhD in 2008. And after my PhD, I moved to the US. I was at Memorial Sloan-Kettering Cancer Center for a few years, first as a postdoc to continue my PhD work there. And then as I was working in the Institute, I developed a taste for collaborating with clinicians and wet lab researchers. And so I moved to the bioinformatics core. And then I led a team for the Center for Hematologic Malignancies and helped to grow that team. It was at the time where next generation sequencing was really exploding. And so we helped build the pipeline for analysis of the data and to translate this information in the clinic. And after that, I wanted a little bit of change of hair, so I went to Rockefeller University. I spent 4 years there working on immunodeficiencies and applying computer science and bioinformatics to that field. And then in May 2021, I decided to move to industry and I joined Sanofi, first at the associate director level, omics data, multi-omics data, and data science applied to that. And then since last July, I'm the head of the Precision Medicine and Computational Biology Data Science Lab at Sanofi.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the background. It really helps add context as to how you've landed where you are today. I'm excited to talk more about your group and your function within precision medicine, precision science. But first, please tell us about Sanofi. Look, a large percentage of our audience will be familiar with Sanofi, just given the size of the organization within life sciences. But for anyone listening not as familiar, who are Sanofi? What's the mission of the business?
So Sanofi is a pharmaceutical company, and it's one of the big pharma. Depending on the metric, depending on the year, the ranking changes, but it's a top 5 pharma in the world. So it's a very large company, and our mission is to deliver drugs to patients and enhance patients' life. And especially the mission of my organization. So I'm in the research and development department at Sanofi. So it's about finding new therapeutic target and what we call credentialing, which is bringing evidence for therapeutic targets that are currently in the pipeline, or finding new positioning for our drugs. So drugs that are either already in the market or are well advanced, trying to find out if there are some new disease we could apply them to.
Thank you. Super helpful. So let's jump straight into it then. Your role, Director of Precision Medicine and Computational Biology Data Science. Talk to us about the main responsibilities of your position and your team. What are you guys working on, and how are you utilizing data science and computational biology to work on precision medicine?
So this goes a little bit with where Sanofi is at right now. A couple of years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, there was this realization in the leadership at Sanofi that the company needed to be a little bit more focused, and especially needed to go through what was called a digital transformation, which is basically a way to not really spend less, but make sure that our efforts are pretty efficient and use the fact that there was the availability of method to deal with big data to do that. And so this is a thinking that has impacted a lot of areas at Sanofi, but that has really impacted research and development full force. And so my organization in general, so I'm leading a team of 7 people, so a data science lab within a wider function that's called precision medicine and computational biology at Sanofi. And the idea of this organization, precision medicine and computational biology, is to be a transverse organization that has data at the center. We generate experiments, we collect the data, we put it in what we call a data catalog, and then we apply advanced method to exploit this data. And my team is the machine learning team within this function at Sanofi. And so we applied machine learning to transform the structured information into knowledge that we put into this data catalog. And then we applied other machine learning methods to use this data catalog to answer some specific for discovery and to better enhance the application of the drug in the pipeline, or to figure out which new drugs we could develop to improve treatment in the disease we're interested in.
So Frank, thank you so much for that. Obviously, in the world of pharmaceuticals and research, there's a long period from early stage research to getting a new drug to market. But you guys are still working towards certain milestones and there's success along the way. So could you share some recent successes or wins that you've had by using this application of machine learning and computational biology for precision medicine? And what are some of the successes that you and your team have had that will eventually lead to new novel prescription treatment for various diseases?
Yes, so I want to preface that by saying that my team is still fairly young. And so when you think about the life cycle development of a drug, it's a little bit early to make sure that we don't have any drug that are currently in the market that my team has contributed to from the beginning. But what I can tell you is that we have accelerated some clinical transition phase, right? So what my team has contributed to is that we've been able, by using data, to do what we call credentialing, which is we were able to bring some more validation to the table and inform go, no-go decisions for drugs that are currently in the pipeline or candidate drugs that are currently in the pipeline. And what that means is that there were a lot of source of information that people at Sanofi, but I think in general in the industry, were not using before in R&D. Maybe were using in the business function at the end of the pipeline when drugs were close to market. But because we have this data experience, this big data experience, we're able to bring them in very early in the pipeline and use them to take decisions very early. And so these kind of decisions that were taken by researchers were able to alleviate some spending that would have been occurring further down the line. And it's not only, it is spending, but it's not only spending of money, it's also spending of time, right? When you're dealing at a company in a big pharma like Sanofi, difficulty is really making the right choices. Most of the drugs that are brought to clinical trial fail in clinical trial. So you want to catch that before you bring them to trial. And so by empowering this decision with more data, we're able to make this choice smarter and to avoid focusing on drugs that are doomed.
You are listening to the Alldus podcast. When you're looking to scale your team, or if you are interested in showcasing your company in a future episode, reach out today. Or if you're in the market for a new role, visit our website to view open positions, www.alldus.com.
Frank, can you describe your team in a bit more detail, just the day-to-day from various positions that exist and what it's like as part of the project life cycle? Obviously, you oversee the whole lot, but you've got computational biologists, you've got data scientists, you've got machine learning. What is it like day-to-day and how do you all interact when working on a project?
So we are a very collaborative team. So we collaborate with a lot of other teams within our function, but also with other functions at Sanofi. And the way that my team is structured is that we have 3 levels. So I'm the director of the team, and below me, there's currently 3 what we call principal scientists, which are experienced data scientists that have a high level of independence. And these 3 principal data scientists have some scientists or senior scientists that report to them. So the way that my team goes day to day, that usually the principal scientists are affected to a certain number of projects, and they manage this project in a more independent way. And then people manage directly these principal scientists. And I myself manage a few projects that are usually larger projects that involve other therapeutic areas at Sanofi. And sometime on the project that I'm managing, actually, my team has more consulting role.
Mhm. So, as you mentioned, Frank, in your introduction, Sanofi is a top 5 pharmaceutical company. So the size of the organization is massive, and there are so many different divisions and subgroups who are utilizing aspects of AI. But to focus on your group, precision medicine, when you look at the project roadmap and the runway over the next few years, particularly given there's so much new investment being put towards precision medicine research, when you look at the future for your team, what are some of the things you're most excited about, and what growth are you expecting over the next 1 to 2 years?
So one of the things that I'm really excited about is really the mission of my team and my organization. For us, it's a really unique opportunity at Sanofi, but I think it's a unique opportunity in pharma in general because we are data scientists, we're computational scientists, and we have the trust of the organization that we can lead some research, we can lead some project, and we can propose targets that the organization can act on. This is something really unique. This is something that is novel. Most of the organizations see data scientists like us and computational scientists as support, and we have the trust to be able to lead something there. So to me, that's something that I'm really excited about, that my team is really excited. For the future, for the next couple of years, especially, what we're really excited by is the idea that we're going to be able to bring some data that usually doesn't inform our pipeline. And we have already some proof of concept and prototype that are very successful. Basically, usually what people do at our level is that they use experimental results, what we call omics. So it's measures of its readout from a biological experiment and or knowledge database that people import. And so they combine that together. And on top of that, we're really experimenting with novel type of data, including machine learning applied to the scientific literature, advanced text methods, as well as some methods applied to other sources of text, such as what we call real-world evidence data, clinical trial data, or even data about competitive reports.
Final question from me then, Frank. Staying on the topic of your team, given the amount of trust and investment being put towards precision medicine, there's going to be opportunities for people to come and join you on this mission. You and I talked about it offline about the background of people that you're looking for. So I want to get your take on, when you look at the next 1 to 2 years, what sort of opportunities do you see for people to come and join you? And part 2 of that question is, when you're interviewing candidates and you're describing Sanofi and its mission and the environment, what is it that you tell them that gets these candidates excited enough to join you guys over some of the other great companies hiring?
The thing that's really exciting is this opportunity that I just described, right? The fact that we have an opportunity to be leading discovery. And the idea that what we do should impact patients' life. We're not doing data science for the sake of doing data. We're doing data science for the idea that we're going to be able to find new treatment options for people that need it. And when I talked earlier about the idea that sometimes we bring things to the table that help Sanofi, the organization, to choose better which drug they should proceed. The idea is not only to save money, it's also to spend less time on something that's good first, so that you can spend more time on something that will improve people's life. That's really what we're trying to bring to the table, and that's really what I want people to be excited about. We are working for the health of patients, and it's very important, and it's something that drives my team and that drives people in my team. Then, for the growth of my team and for the way that we work, so we are a research and development team. So a lot of people in my team used to work in academia. And that's a profile that we like. We are trying to interact more with that world, to publish more. We are kind of pushing the culture a little bit in that direction. And we are trying to work in this idea. So we're industry, we still have to think about deadline and this kind of project management technique, not that applied in academia, but at the same time want to work in an agile environment, and we want to have people that have more independence, which is a little bit different than what can be applied in some other pharmas.
Frank, thank you so much for coming on today and talking to us. It's been an absolute pleasure learning about yourself and your team and the work you're doing at Sanofi. Precision medicine is probably one of the most exciting, if not the most exciting aspects of how AI and machine learning can have a positive impact. And you're obviously working for one of the biggest farmers in the world. So if anyone's going to have a chance of being successful, it's you and your team. So we wish you, the team, and everyone at Sanofi the best of luck in the months and years to come. And we look forward to having you back on the show in the near future.
Thank you, JP. It was my pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Alldus podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and any Android podcast of choice. You can also head over to our website, www.alldus.com, to listen to more podcasts, view our open roles, and stay up to date with industry news. Thanks for listening, and stay tuned for more great episodes coming very soon.